Napoleon Bonaparte is overrated. Here's why. Before proceeding, it's important to establish something. What are the modern-day perceptions of Napoleon? Well, that is a complex question. In France, depending on which poll you look at, he is generally well perceived. Those who praise him do so because of his reforms, in some cases also for his military accomplishments. In the rest of Europe, perceptions vary greatly, often depending on what Napoleon did in each country. Places like Britain and Germany often see him as an imperialist and a tyrant, while Italy sees him more positively. In some political circles, Napoleon's militaristic and leadership qualities are glorified and respected, many wishing we lived in a world where he emerged victorious, with even some viewers of this channel feeling this way. So it's fair to say that most countries do not see Napoleon positively, but a sizable minority, most notably in France, fervently support him, making him a bit overrated. This video shall analyze the arguments in favor of Napoleon, and why I believe these overstate his greatness, and that the world is better off with his defeat. Reason number 1, Napoleon was an imperialist. This may seem obvious, but a common defense for Napoleon is that he was defending his country. But this isn't entirely true. Although many of the coalition wars were in fact defensive, Napoleon also pursued his own imperialist ambitions, far more than necessary for defense. For example, the War of the Fourth Coalition, although officially ignited by Prussia by sending France an ultimatum to withdraw its troops from Western Germany, was in many ways started by France. Napoleon had previously created subject states in the area, collectively known as the Confederation of the Rhine, which worried Prussia, believing he would go further, prompting the ultimatum. After all, if Napoleon was just defending France, then why did he greatly expand its borders and create subjects? The Rhine was not the only case. In his defensive wars, Napoleon also created subjects in Italy, the Netherlands, and Poland. And these are just the successful attempts. Again, in the War of the Fourth Coalition, Napoleon expanded the defensive war by attacking Portugal, followed by overthrowing his ally of Spain in 1807. He did the same in Egypt in 1798 as a general, as well as Russia in 1812 to force them to comply with the continental system. The Napoleonic Wars were not just France defending itself. They were used to justify the expansion of France's borders and power. Now, some may defend Napoleon's expansion by arguing he was justified to do so, bringing positive reforms and ideas, improving the lives of many. Which brings us to the next point. Reason number 2, Napoleon's governance. Of Napoleon's policies, there are admittedly plenty to compliment him on, like the establishment of a higher education system and financial organization. He abolished feudal codes, also establishing principles of civil liberty and equality for the poor in all religions in the 1804 Napoleonic Code. However, there were many reforms that were quite detrimental to the lives of many. For example, the Napoleonic Code recognized the rights of all men, but excluded women, making it quite hypocritical. Napoleon also heavily centralized power, creating the nobility of the empire. This system resembled the old hereditary nobility, except with new people and albeit a larger focus on merit, mostly for generals and loyal supporters. This opposed the egalitarian ideas of the French Revolution, as power was once again in the hands of the upper class, based on loyalty to the emperor. This was a dangerous turn to authoritarianism, as it reinforced approval and loyalty towards one man in all facets of government. Even its meritocratic elements were questionable, as skilled generals and leaders needed to be loyal to Napoleon himself, as he approved new individuals for the nobility. Merit alone was not enough. Napoleon also pursued authoritarian ideas by eliminating democratic institutions, shutting down newspapers and limiting those who remained, utilizing a secret police force led by Joseph Fouché. Additionally, in 1802, Napoleon legalized slavery in France's colonies, just 8 years after its abolition by the Republic. Napoleon's changes have plenty of issues that are not given enough attention, whose authoritarian and autocratic aspects were an insult to what the revolutionaries fought for. Overall, Napoleon's legacy is a complex one. He did many great things, inspiring the governments and law codes of today on how they should be structured. However, these positives should not overshadow Napoleon's imperialism and authoritarianism, reinstatement of slavery, as well as hypocritical law codes. Yes, Napoleon was a great general, one who revolutionized warfare, but he was also France's head of state, who passed many reforms, both negative and positive. That is what Napoleon's legacy should be, not black nor white, but a shade of gray.